Hello, this is my Module 15 for AEP 858, my case study. Okay, so Category 1, Problem Identification and Analysis. What do I know? I know that Truman Elementary School houses grades pre-K through 8. It's a suburban community outside a medium-sized Midwestern city. The largest elementary school, and it holds 700 students. 15% of students either qualify or are on free and reduced lunches, and 5% are ELL. Reading achievement of students is a concern. Parents brought reading up at a PTO meeting, and then the president emailed me, the principal. I asked the district reading supervisor to visit classrooms to get her input on reading, and I did my own assessments. What do I need to know? Is there other reading data that can be looked at, or other data in general? What does the data look like when separated by race, ethnicity, ELL, free and reduced lunches, and grade level? Does Truman qualify for the grant based on need alone? What reading programs curriculum will be implemented if Truman is awarded the grant? What is the plan if they are not awarded the grant? What is the perception of Truman in the community? And are any other subject areas a concern? So identifying the problem. Truman Elementary is not teaching reading in an effective manner. Parents are concerned after seeing test scores and took it to the PTO, who then brought it to my attention. I have enlisted the help of the district reading supervisor to assist in determining what needs to be done. We need to find a curriculum that is research-based and includes both whole and small group instruction according to the district reading supervisor. My proposed plan is to look at the data given by the reading supervisor, so what she saw and came up with, and look at that, and then create a reading team with one person from each grade level to look at reading data that is submitted weekly so that they can see if students are making progress and are succeeding with the reading curriculum that we will get or have implemented. And then I want to create a curriculum guide or a pacing chart so that teachers know where they need to be with the reading curriculum, and then that way we know that students are meeting and learning what they need to before state assessments. I would get staff's input about the current curriculum, so what they like, what they don't like, and what they would like in a new curriculum. And then I would bring up the grant to staff and district personnel and get their thoughts and input on it as well. I would then create a professional development on reading and language arts instruction to get the best practices that needs to be for reading and language arts, and make sure that teachers are also teaching to a database instruction as well. I would also want to implement PLCs on Friday mornings to go over reading data so that on Fridays on the PLC, teachers would meet with their grade levels to look at the reading data for that week. I would also have a cohesive way of collecting data so that everyone in the building is collecting data the same way, and that way there's no discrepancies and that everybody's submitting it, and that way it will be easier for the reading team as well. I would then also meet with the PTO to give them this course of action. I would also change the master schedule to have longer reading instruction time per what the reading supervisor told me. Strategies of the proposed plan: implementing a reading team, implementing PLC, data collection, having a cohesive way of collecting data, a curriculum guide or pacing chart, professional development, the grant proposal and writing, bringing that to the staff, staff district team building, and changing the schedule to allow for more reading instruction. And the staff and district team building, I didn't put that on the other one, but that kind of goes hand in hand with the professional development as well. Category 3, promoting success of students. What is best for the students? A new reading curriculum, a database instruction, differentiated learning for both whole and small group instruction so that high students aren't having to wait for low students and that all levels are being challenged. Professional development of their teachers so that their teachers are giving them a database instruction but are also using the best practices with current research. Having prizes or incentives for reading, and I would have this be for sure classroom, so the classroom teachers can have like prizes or incentives for reading, whether that be points and what have you. And then I would also bring up the idea to the staff about doing a school-wide like incentives or prizes for reading as well to kind of help boost students to want to do good in reading. And then I would also make sure that students are being taught different strategies for learning and reading so that when they get stuck or they don't know how to solve something in reading, that they have strategies that they can use to help them. My resolution based on facts, reading scores are low, parents' perception of the school is low, there's little to no differentiation. A few teachers do differentiate, but not all. Professional development is needed with best practices and database instruction. Which database instruction is needed, a new curriculum is needed, and more reading instruction time is needed as well. So I feel like these are facts that I have gathered, and these are things that need to be changed, which I feel are being met in the plan I have proposed. So category 4, debrief the problem. Thinking, feeling, and valuing. So for this area, I feel like a curriculum change is needed, which is definitely needed. Differentiation is needed in all classrooms. With or without the grant, there needs to be a change of some sort, whether that be curriculum, database instruction, differentiation. I feel like a curriculum is needed, so with or without the grant, I will push for that. Better data collection is needed throughout the building, and so that's my having a cohesive data collection plan for the whole building. I'm changing the schedule to allow for more reading instruction time. I feel like that is a big one, and also to add the PLC in there as well. So category 4, unresolved issues and further investigation. What do other subjects such as math look like? So looking at the data scores, the math scores for the standardized tests are very similar to the reading. So is math another area that needs to be looked at and needs to have a plan done for it, or is it just reading? And I would bring that up to the PTO to get their input as well. I would also bring it up to the staff. Does my plan work for all grade levels? It definitely works for pre-K through 8, and I would think that it could be tweaked to fit all grade levels because it's a very cohesive, very straightforward plan that I feel can be implemented for whichever grade level. What other data can be looked at? So what demographics data can be looked at to kind of maybe give us insight as to why certain students are struggling? Is it poverty? Is it do they have disabilities? Is it a language issue? What is it that could also be affecting them? And then can that data also be used to help us better our reading scores? And what will happen if we do not get the grant? So even if we don't get the grant, I'm still going to push for getting a new reading curriculum because that definitely needs to be done, and having the professional development as well. And then will the plan I made benefit the students? And I really feel like the plan I have made will benefit the students in the long run because they will be getting the best practices and instruction that they need. So standard 5, agent for continuous improvement. So the questions, it says provide examples from data in the case explaining how you as the building level administrator acted as an agent for continuous improvement and to engage families and the community in a beneficial way. So meeting with the PTO to hear their concerns and show and tell them the progress and the plan that I have set forth. Having community members come in and help in the classrooms during reading instruction, whether that be reading to students in the lower grades or helping students in the higher grades with their reading. Have a program to help give students a push to want to read, so the prizes and incentives, whether that be classroom and school-wide. I feel would really give the students a push to want to read and would be able to have the continuous improvement. Having professional development for teachers on best practices for reading instruction and database instruction as well. And then I would continue to show the PTO and the district gains and improvements being made, whether that be through newsletter or on the school website. Oops, sorry, did not mean to change that. Community concerns. I brought in the district reading supervisor for their opinion. So that was a concern, was the reading. So I brought in a reading supervisor to get their opinion. I also did my own assessments of the teachers and how they were teaching reading. So taking in their concerns, I would have a new reading curriculum and professional development on best practices done. to help better the scores for students, and then changing the schedule to allow for more reading instruction and PLC so that teachers can look at their data to help better their own instruction. So Category 5, Standard 8, knowledge of policies, laws, and regulations, following state and district guidelines for changing of the master schedule to allow for more reading instruction and the PLC. So I would follow their guidelines and regulations on how to go about changing the master schedule to allow for more reading instruction, what can be taken out, what can be changed, to add that along with adding the PLC. Would also look at the state standards when deciding on a new curriculum for reading, and then follow their policies on how to go about getting a new reading curriculum for both state and district. I would also follow state and district guidelines for the grant application to make sure that I am submitting this correctly and that I am following all of the guidelines. I would also follow state and district rules on professional development for teachers, what has to be in a professional development to be considered one, and are there people they feel can be brought in or areas that I can look at to get people to come in for the professional development. And then lastly, ongoing dialogue with decision makers outside of the school. So reflection of Standard 8. So reporting the progress to the PTO and the district leaders, meeting with the reading team in the school and district personnel to review progress and scores. I would continue to provide scores so parents and community can see the progress, whether that be newsletter, website, PTO, what have you. And then I would share my plan of grant application and new curriculum with district leaders to get the go-ahead to submit the grant application and even possibly look at getting a new curriculum and what they would want to see in a new curriculum. So I feel like this plan is very straightforward and can definitely be done and is definitely an obtainable plan. So that is my case study for Module 15. Thank you.